For centuries, the world was shaped by the immense power of Western empires. From the colonial outposts of the British Empire to the global financial dominance of the United States, their influence was woven into the very fabric of the world, driven by unmatched military and economic might. But what happens when that power begins to wane? This is the story of how Western empires rose and how the tide of global influence is shifting today. Our story begins with Great Britain, an island nation that, through sheer ambition and relentless innovation, came to rule over a quarter of the world's population, forging an empire so vast the sun never set upon it. Economically, the Industrial Revolution was the roaring engine. From textile mills to coal mines, British factories produced goods on an unprecedented scale, fueling a global trading network that demanded protection. The City of London became the world's financial hub, its bankers and merchants financing the infrastructure and enterprises of an interconnected, British-dominated world. Militarily, the Royal Navy was the undisputed enforcer. Its fleet, transitioning from sail to steam and from wood to iron, was technologically superior to any rival. Its warships controlled the world's vital sea lanes, protecting the arteries of commerce and projecting power across continents. The Navy's dominance was so absolute, it was often said that Britannia ruled the waves, a claim few dared to challenge. This military superiority not only conquered territories but also deterred rivals, cementing Britain's status as the unchallenged global hegemon. This wasn't a sudden rise. It was a methodical expansion built on two pillars: overwhelming economic might and unparalleled military power. But after two devastating world wars, the old order of European empires lay in ruins. Exhausted by conflict and debt, they could no longer maintain their global dominance, and a new power emerged. The torch of Western leadership was passed to the United States, which emerged from the war with its industrial base intact and its economy booming. Unlike the territorial conquests of the British, American power was built on a different model, a blend of military strength and economic influence. Economically, the US architected the Bretton Woods system. By pegging the dollar to gold, it became the world's reserve currency, the bedrock of international trade. To manage this new order, it created institutions like the IMF and the World Bank to finance reconstruction and prevent future economic crises. This gave the US immense leverage over the global financial system. Militarily, America's strategy was twofold. First, it built the most powerful armed forces in history, backed by an unparalleled industrial complex. Second, to contain its new rival, the Soviet Union, it forged a network of global alliances, with NATO as its cornerstone. American military bases were established worldwide, extending its security umbrella and deterring adversaries. This Pax Americana was reinforced by a domestic economic boom. The rise of multinational American corporations didn't just spread products. It exported a way of life, solidifying its financial and cultural supremacy. No empire lasts forever, and the post-war order built on Western dominance was no exception. The decline of this influence didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process, a series of cracks appearing in a once solid foundation, marked by several key events. The first major fissure appeared in 1956. For the UK, the Suez Crisis was a geopolitical humiliation, demonstrating it could no longer act independently of the US and cementing a new hierarchy within the West itself. Economically, the West's industrial grip loosened as manufacturing was outsourced. This deindustrialization, coupled with soaring national debts, created a new vulnerability, hollowing out the economies that had once powered global dominance. This vulnerability was laid bare in 2008. The financial crisis, originating in the US, sent shockwaves across the globe, severely damaging the credibility and stability of Western-led financial systems. Militarily, protracted wars in the Middle East drained resources and prestige. These conflicts revealed the limitations of military might in solving complex geopolitical problems, eroding the moral authority that had long underpinned Western leadership. With Western influence on the wane, new power centers have emerged. China's rapid economic growth and the rise of countries like India have challenged Western economic dominance. Aggressive infrastructure investments, such as the Belt and Road Initiative, have reshaped trade and influence. Countries in Asia and other developing regions are now major economic players in their own right, no longer content to be mere producers for the West. Militarily, new challenges have also arisen. Russia's resurgence has demonstrated a willingness to challenge the US-led order in its own backyard. New forms of warfare, from cyber attacks to economic sanctions, are being employed by various states, undermining the traditional military superiority of the West. So, what does this all mean? The world is no longer unipolar, dominated by a single Western power. Instead, we are entering a multipolar era, where influence is diffused among multiple states and even non-state actors. Economically, we see this in the shift of manufacturing hubs and the rise of new financial centers. Militarily, the focus is shifting from conventional warfare to hybrid threats. Western nations still possess immense power, but they no longer hold the same unquestioned authority they once did. The story of Western empires is a powerful lesson in the ebb and flow of history. The age of absolute Western dominance is over, but the story of humanity is far from finished. The new challenge is not to restore a lost golden age, but to navigate this complex multipolar world with wisdom. Subscribe for more historical perspectives.